Hi, welcome to this week's episode of the weekly magazine. Chris?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I haven't seen you for a while.
Oh, it's been at least 10 minutes.
Where were you hiding then?
The competition last week, the word was...
Extendable.
Extendable. So, well done if you got that right. We have got a few
Would you like
winners.
to pick the winner?
Okay, I'll pick the winner.
Shaky, shaky, do the shaking back. Oh look, hat matches my hoodie.
It does. Colour coordinated. And the winner is, I can't read your writing, Jazz
Bindar, I think.
Jazz Bindar. Well done, Jazz. Somebody will be in touch with you regarding your prize, which is...
Again, you're going to get a surprise in the post.
Surprise in the post, okay. A surprise in the post, sounds good.
I'm sure everyone that's getting their prizes is pretty impressed.
Hopefully. So on this week's show, we're going to be looking at Perfect Score by Jon Allen. We'll talk about that. Also, Unsighted by Sky Member. Sky Member presents Unsighted.
Yeah, actually, who's the artist?
It doesn't say. Unless
Sky Member's the company, isn't it?
By Fenix Chan. Fenix Chan, that's Unsighted. And the blast from the past this week is the Essential Magic Classics by Danny Archer. Also, the question and answer, the question we set last week was about performing whilst people were eating their meals. Okay, so we've got some really good answers on that. And this week, for a change, I'm going to give a word of the week for Costas, which I'm going to do now. There you go, sir. And look, no expense spent. New envelope with mystery word on it. Look at that, mate. You don't look impressed.
I haven't managed to say anything yet, so let me have a look at this word and hopefully it will get me talking.
Just left him speechless.
I might have to buy some from Asda later on.
Actually. Okay, cool. Right, so on with the show. Thank you.
Fantastic. Unsighted by Fenix Chan. Let's watch the official trailer and let's get back and we'll discuss it. Now that was the official trailer for Unsighted and it looks pretty cool.
It's excellent, actually. I've got to be honest, I didn't have high hopes for it when I looked at the DVD, and the reason being, and I'm probably wrong to do this, that the description on the back of the box is one of those things that's obviously been written in a foreign language and then translated and stuff, and it's so confusing, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I'm reading it, I'm thinking, well, what's the effect?
You will not buy it by reading that description.
But
Google translated did a poor job.
Oh, it's terrible. It's it's dreadful. So I've got to be honest, my expectations weren't very high. When I put it on and I watched the effect, it's excellent. I've got to say, this is something that I could see myself using. The effect's crystal clear. It's an impossible location for a signed
It's
card.
actually a worker. You can actually go out and put it amongst your set at a gig, and it will be a staple product because this is really good.
The nice thing about it is it's something that there's nothing to go wrong. There's no moving parts. It's built into your card case, which you've got anyway. And basically the effect is you openly place a card underneath the cellophane of the card box at the start of a routine. You place that down on the table. They just reveal it straight away. Okay, obviously you can do any card routine that you wish, and at the end of it you put the cards back in the box, and you say to the spectator, do you remember that I placed a card there at the start of the routine? Here's the nice bit: the spectator can actually take the card from out of the cellophane,
and that will be the card that they signed during a previous performance.
And it's
or
the sign,
part of that.
that's right, and it's the signed card. There's no loading, you know. Having said that, the performance that you see on the demo, there's a few cuts there, and there's a reason for that.
Justifiable, because you don't want. I can understand why, because you don't want the viewers to see the full performance, because they will see all the moves and stuff that
when you perform,
don't need to be taught.
When you perform this, there's a couple of moves that you need to do under misdirection. Okay, which obviously, if you're just doing it as a demo with one camera, you can't do.
No.
So we watched this with another working professional who was visiting our studio, Will Gray, and Will liked it as well. You know, Will thought it was a worker and stuff. So
the performance doesn't take away something that would make you not perform this. It just takes away something that you don't need to see, because it
tipped the method.
It tipped the method.
So I would definitely use this. It's something that once the gimmick sort of does wear out, you could make up yourself. And as Costas said, if I walked into a magic studio and saw this and read the back, I wouldn't buy it. Now I've seen it. It's really good and it's well worth checking out.
What sold it for me was the actual method.
Yeah,
I saw the performance. I thought, okay, that's interesting.
It filled us, but it was cut away. So
but we knew there was cuts as well. They actually tell you that there's cuts on the DVD.
Right. There's a disclaimer saying, and again that's in Google Translated English, is saying there is cut due to dirty trick or something, or something like that.
It's not supposed to be a comedy DVD,
but now the method is really clever. I like it. It's good. So for me, definitely recommended.
No, me too as well. A lot for your money.
So yeah, well worth checking out. That's Unsighted by a Sky member, and the creator is Fenix Chan. Fenix Chan.
The second one sold for this week is Perfect Score by Jon Allen.
Yeah, I'm going to give a brief demonstration of what this is and how it works, and then we're going to come back and talk about it. Okay, so here's Perfect Score by Jon Allen. Right, so I'm going to show you how the Perfect Score works by Jon Allen, and we're going to score a card into 4 as if I was going to do a Mercury card fold. So the card goes in here, the cutout goes there, and your little tool runs across there like so. Okay, so like this, and then this one comes out, this one goes in like so, and again your little cutting tool goes in here and across. That card is now being scored, ready to do your Mercury card fold. So Costas and I will talk about it in further detail now. Okay, so Perfect Score by Jon Allen. Right, what is it?
Well, when Jon Allen first announced he was going to bring this out, a lot of people were saying it's a rotten cabbage. What is the need? Hint, hint for
a rotten cabbage.
Yeah, it was like people thought, what? Why do we need this?
You need a crowbar for that one.
Is he trying to extort money from us?
No. Did people say that?
There was quite a bit of negative, or people thinking they know best.
Well,
but I'll tell you what. Thumbs up to Jon Allen, because what he's come up with is really clever. You know, you do
let's talk about what it does and what it is. Yeah. Okay, so for anyone who does any card fold, and the common one that most people know is a Mercury card fold.
Yeah.
Okay, now if you're using, we've talked about this a lot, but if you use Jon's destination box, or indeed my routine, the light, you need the card to be folded in 6. Now, for a lot of people, a Mercury card fold, whilst it's not a difficult move to do, it can be, particularly when you're under fire, it can be difficult to make it look neat, to have a neat fold. So Tommy Wonder many years ago had the idea of pre-scoring the cards. So you get a ruler, a knife, pre-score the card, and then when you go to do the Mercury fold or the 6 card fold, you've only got to do the actions because it's pre-cut or pre-scored. It automatically you get a very neat crease, and I'll show you what I mean. This is a card that we've scored already. So as soon as you start to go into the crease, into the Mercury card folder, you can see with literally no
effort at all.
No effort at all. That automatically, and you get the neatest. I mean, literally the neatest Mercury card fold that you're ever going to get. All right.
Let's show them what you get, and then we can discuss the advantages of this. You're getting a template system.
Yeah.
You get a jig and 2 other perspex or 3 other perspex bits here, and the scorer. So what you do, you either choose, if you're going to do a 4-fold or a 6-fold, you decide what you're going to use. And the big one is for a 4 score.
For the 6. For the 6 fold.
Yeah, that's for the 6 fold.
Yeah.
That goes in there and it guides you where to score it, so everything could be accurate.
Yeah.
And the small one is for a 4 fold, so you place it in there, you score it. Now
the nice thing about this, I don't know how Jon's managed to get this at this price point, because this sells at £10.
£10 retail.
And instead of having a razor blade, a ruler, and then you've got to find somewhere to do it and stuff, you get this little blade here that exactly fits in to where the grooves are. So all you've got to do is place it in there, run it across the template. And Jon put a thing on Facebook, he scored a whole pack
in just over 11 minutes.
11 minutes, okay.
And this scores it at the precise depth, so you're not going to cut through the card. It's impossible.
It takes 1 layer of card.
And it's great, it does a job, and the scoring is not noticeable.
So really, I mean, if anyone's ever wanted to do like a mystery card type effect, or anything where you fold a card, but your card folds have been a bit unreliable, then this is the perfect thing. And even if you can do a reasonable, I mean, I can do a reasonable Mercury card fold, okay? And I'll show you, I'll do it now, very quickly, okay? So that's, and that, you know, you can see the difference, can't you, straight away. The folds aren't as neat, there's a little bit overhanging and stuff.
So I can't remember where someone mentioned this, but they had a point that due to the clear box type of effects that are coming out, for example 360 by Wayne Dobson and stuff, all the folds are sort of precise, they sort of spot on. So when you're doing a Mercury card fold, then it doesn't come very similar to what you initially showed them. The conscious performer has got a problem with this, but this solves everything.
I mean, it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah.
For 10 quid, you can pre-score a pack of cards in 10 minutes, force the card at each table, just add it to a regular pack. You can do any card routine, and then very easily you can do your Mercury card fold.
And it makes it so easy to learn the Mercury card fold this way as well, because it just folds itself. To a certain extent, all you're doing is pushing forward.
Yeah, you start to do the actions, and the card automatically goes into the thing. So, can I just mention, I first saw this method many years ago. It was taught to me by Steve Evans, who was a friend of ours, and I'd just like to say it was Steve who showed me this many years ago. So, I'd just like to give a little mention for that.
I actually spoke to Tommy Wonder about this because he did a lecture at Milton Keynes with Top Secret Magic by Gary Young. Yeah. And I'm not sure, it was probably one of his last ever lectures that he ever did. And he actually spoke quite a bit about this. which was interesting. Afterwards, I was speaking to how his lecture was the most inspiring thing I've ever seen.
Great performer.
Is loads of theatre and everything, and I thought that's actually really clever, because all you're doing is just scoring the back, and it creates something that's so simple.
Absolutely.
And it's just one of the wonders of
So really,
wonder.
For me, I mean, I know it's not a trick, and people watch these shows to see tricks and stuff.
It's a utility device that you're going to use.
It's a good utility device, and for me, it's a step forward in Tommy's thinking. So, well done, Jon. Brilliant thinking, and it's a great prop.
For £10, you're going to get
something that you're going to use. Yeah. Well,
really
we've been quite open with what it is. Now you know what it is. Hopefully, if it interests you, it's definitely worth getting, because it does exactly as they say. It does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a piece of cabbage. It's a piece of quality, engineered.
Well done. Well done.
It's not my fault you chose a silly word. No.
So that's perfect score by Jon Allen. So the question and answer this week, the question was sent in by one of our viewers. Do you perform whilst people are eating? So I'm going to give my answer to that first, and we've had some really good responses on social media and stuff. I personally do not perform whilst people are eating, if I can help it. If I'm at a restaurant and the main course comes, I excuse myself from the table, and I'll say to them, I'll try and pop back later on if I get the chance. If I'm at an event where there's a lot of people sitting down for a meal, very often, the room is served in a sweeping motion, so you can, by looking at where they start serving the food, if you start working the opposite side of the room, working your way across, by the time you get to the other side of the room, people will have finished their meals. Occasionally you'll get slow eaters and stuff. If I've got to get round as many, there's a lot of tables to get round, I will perform whilst people are eating their desserts.
But not their main course. That's important.
But not their main course. That's just my personal.
I personally think it's the most disrespectful thing anyone can do is perform while someone's eating their main. Sometimes it might be unavoidable.
Yeah.
Perfect example. I had my toast made this morning.
Yeah.
And I didn't manage to eat it because we had phone calls coming in throughout our ears. By the time I went to get my toast, it was soggy. Now, can you imagine someone paying £15–20 for a meal?
Yeah.
And you're performing, and they there.
I mean, very often when
their food gets a bit lukewarm, it's not nice for them.
No. I mean, very often people say to you when it's, oh no, please stay, and I will excuse myself. Now, let me just, before we go on to the answers, let me just say that as a working performer and professional, if you're working in restaurants and things like this where the food comes in, there's a high turnover of clientele, that's where you need to choose your material quite well, because if you get to a table and you only spend 3 or 4 minutes with them before the food comes out, you need to have shown them some good magic. Now, and by that what I mean to say is it's no good doing something that's leading up to a big finish, because you're 2 minutes into that routine, 3 minutes into that routine, you haven't got to the finish yet, and the food comes, they're going to say, well, what the hell was that all about? So really, for me, your magic needs to be modular, visual, and you need to get straight into it when you get to a table.
And also, it's going back to various things we discussed in previous Q&As over the past weeks, is that the magician's job is not only to perform magic, you've got to be aware of your surroundings as well.
Of course.
So you've got to see, well, actually, food's about to be taken to that table. You want to avoid it.
Well, our job is there's several aspects to a job as a magician, isn't there? If you're working at a restaurant, okay, you're there as an ambassador for that restaurant. So you're there to A, entertain, and B, you're there to cover any delays or whatever, okay, and to create, you're a goodwill ambassador for the restaurant and try and encourage people to come back. You're not the star of the show, are you?
No.
You never are. You're part of the entertainment. The star of the show is the meal, okay? So.
And you're getting paid more than anyone else in that restaurant.
I'm not.
So, so for the time that you're there, so
yeah.
you
need to remember that, it's important. But having said that, all of the responses that we've had have pretty much said the same sort of thing. So we'll go through a few of those now. Okay, so we'll start off with my magic dad, James Fortune. I try never to perform when people are eating food. Is far more interesting than I will ever be. I'm sure his tongue is in the cheek there.
Unless they're eating cabbage. Cabbage is more important.
Okay, we get the picture. Sometimes I'll say, oh, you haven't finished yet, or are your foods arriving? I'll stop for a moment. Now, he has made an important point here. In fact, do you know how I know it's an important point, Costas?
Why?
It says here, important point.
Right, yes it does.
You should mention this when you're being booked, otherwise the booker will think you are slacking on their time.
That's a valid point, because bookers won't take that into consideration. Because unless you bring it to their attention, actually, if they're eating, we don't want to perform magic.
I've been booked on corporate events before where the booker has specifically said, we want you to work during the meal. And they have specifically said that. And myself and the other magician who was working at this event, we felt that strongly about it, that we didn't do it. Although, as I mentioned earlier, you know, we timed it so we covered the room. You can look busy, it's only 4 or 5 minutes, so you look busy, you walk around the room and stuff. So Matt Gupwell and Lee Smith basically both saying the same thing. People want to enjoy their meal without being interrupted. Lee Smith said never ever, unless maybe for one very last table before they do something like an auction or speeches. That's again another good point. A lot of events, you know, if you're doing a wedding, as soon as they're onto coffees, they're going to speeches. So that's it, you're finished. A corporate event, the band will come on, the MD will get up to do a speech, you finish. So if you've got one table to do, then perhaps you would do it then, okay? Jamie Adams, never. I remember coming to seeing a magician do a table I was at once, and ever since then I've learned to approach before, between or after. So in other words, he's been on the other side.
Yeah, and it's what I said earlier, is that it's not a nice feeling, because you want to eat your food and you don't want someone...
But we taught... from a young age, we taught not to talk with our mouths full, and all that kind of stuff, aren't we? So yeah, good point. Gaz Butcher, no, because they are eating. Like it.
Absolutely. What were they eating?
Andy Nichols, if it can be avoided, then definitely no. But yeah, that's it. He's gone on to say a few more things there, but
Damien Sir said exactly the same thing.
He's being rude.
You know, Colin Underwood.
Yeah. Jon Allen again. John, perfect score, John. I always tell clients that I don't do anything during the main course. Starters and desserts aren't ideal, but if the client expects me to get around to all the tables, then I will, if necessary.
Yeah. You gotta use some logic, don't you? You gotta judge the environment as it comes, and you work around it.
Yeah. Basically,
there's nothing else you can do until you're there.
I think everybody agrees that that you know, unless you can help it, no, you don't perform. Most people are eating. Who else we'll mention a couple of other people who have took the time to contact us. So David Class and Warren Treadaway, who've basically said exactly the same.
Actually, it's from around the corner.
Okay, yeah, Warren, yeah.
Castle Bromwich.
Yeah, I never perform when people are eating. When performing at tables, I mostly perform multi-phase routines. So if the food arrives, I can end on a climax as such. So that goes back to what I just said about multi-phase modular routines. Okay, so that was the questions this week. If anybody has got any questions that they'd like to ask, please get in touch, and we'll be posting a question on social media and stuff shortly. Okay, so thank you for your responses.
The blast from the past this week is Essential Magic Classics by Danny Archer, produced by Big Blind Media. Now let's watch a brief trailer they've put together for this product, and we'll come back.
So we thought we'd tell you about an exciting new project we've got coming out very soon, which is called Essential Magic Classics.
And who is behind this fabulous double disc set?
Double disc set. It's Danny Archer, who many of you will know. He's lectured all over the world. He runs the Mindvention convention.
That's right, yeah.
In the States.
The first section that we shot was all Essential Magic Classics, which is what, you know, the project's ended up being called. And it's one of those things where, you know, when you've been in Magic a while, you think you know the classic tricks, really, and you kind of discard them because everyone's doing them. But there's a reason everyone's doing them, and that's because they're awesome. And Danny has worked so much that you get very simplified handlings, very effective lines and bits, and then all the routines build. It's just a worker's dream, basically. And then we had the disc of his original, the actual Archer Classics, which was also very good. I mean...
But yeah, they're basically the tricks that kind of Danny felt really summed up his sort of performance style and the stuff that he's best at. And they are classics, you know. Obviously... neo-classics, as we would call them. Or Danny classics, because they're the ones out of
Danny classics, that's good. I like that, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, because for Big Blind Media, this was quite a different sort of project, really.
Well, most of the stuff was close-up and cards before, wasn't it? And how many cards things are on this?
There's not many. I mean, this is it. When we're talking classics, we're talking, you know, colour changing balls, you know, 3-fly, all you know, the stuff that basically people, when they talk about Magic, they're like, okay, yeah, they are, you know, the ones that people will have seen in a lot of restaurant work or weddings and stuff. But
they're easy to do, but not easy to do well, and that's something that Danny does because he's working 8 nights a week, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just getting started, it's a great set because it's going to give you really usable versions of the classic tricks. You're not going to have to wade through 50 versions and then hack your own Frankenstein routine together by hacking bits out of everything else. Because you're going to get just completed, finished routines that you can use, whether it's just for your mates at the pub or whatever, or if you want to start gigging, then start with the best, most workable stuff, basically.
Essential Magic Classics with Danny Archer, coming soon.
Right, so we called it a blast from the past. It's not really that old, but it's something that seems to have flown under the radar a little bit. Didn't really hear much about it when it came out and stuff.
I think it's one of these products. Ironically, most products you come across that are solid working material, they don't get the publicity because there's no gimmick, there's no interesting moves.
Yeah. That's exactly what's happened here. This is a 2-disc set, and it's full basically of Danny's working repertoire. Now you've only got to watch the DVD to see that Danny's worked these in the real world. Okay.
And he's worked them, you know, thousands of times. They're all polished.
He works. He says at the start of the disc, you know, he works in a restaurant 3 hours a night and he 220 nights throughout the year. The guy, you know, he's a busy pro. So what I would say about this is anyone who goes out and performs close-up magic for a living or
wants to go out and perform restaurant magic or whatever type of, you know, magic you want to go out and perform.
There's something here.
Definitely,
particularly if you were just about to start putting a set together. I remember when I first started going out performing, you've spent, you know, years learning all these table routines and learning, you know, multi-phase ace assemblies and all this kind of stuff. And you get out there in your first gig, and then there's nowhere to put stuff down, and you know, you quickly realise that everything you've spent ages learning is a complete waste of time. This
actually helps you eliminate that phase to a certain degree because it shows you material that he's worked in the real world and will work for you.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, you know, you might not necessarily want to perform all of his tricks his way, but what it does give you is a good overview of a working professional set, which very often you don't see on DVDs these days. I'll give you an example, okay? There's his eye exam trick, which is a released marketed effect, okay? But it does show you how to make that up. So it's a packet trick. There's a nice coin routine, there's a mentalism routine, there's a multiple card revelation, and then there's basically a strolling type regular pack trick. Okay, on the second disc, he's got his Sponge Bunnies routine. So James Fortune, Sponge Bunnies, right? Anniversary Waltz, again a classic, everybody does. He's got a nice take on that. Purse Fly is a really nice coin routine. And then he's got basically a spellbound routine using balls, which is quite visual. A sucker silk type routine, and finally a memorised deck routine. So there's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of stuff there for the money. So you know, if you've got your own repertoire,
and if you want to add something to your repertoire, and you're not sure what you want to add, if you get this DVD, you might actually find something from this DVD.
You know, there was a couple of things that stood out for me. The eye exam I really liked, and also his coin routine, which is like a mentalism type routine, and the what was it, the purse fly as well, because I like some coin stuff and that. So there's a few things there. So really, you know, anybody who's interested in working performable material, not for YouTube, not for, you know, this is for people who want to go down the pub and show stuff, or people who want to go and do gigs, shows, then I would definitely recommend this DVD. Yeah.
Me too.
Okay, so that's Essential Magic Classics by Danny Archer.
This week's news. But you wanted to say hello to someone. You spoke to a customer the other day.
I spoke to one of our customers the other day, and as far as I know, he's one of our oldest viewers. It's Ken Ashburn, a 78-year-old viewer in Lancashire. Tells me he's a bit of a card man still, and so this is to you. Hi Ken, nice to speak to you the other day, mate. Hope you enjoy that trick when it turns up. Okay, which will be quite soon, I believe.
It's going to go out today.
Okay,
so no, it's already gone out.
Yeah,
you've already got it, and you've already learned it.
So I hope you enjoy that, and nice to speak to you, Ken.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week. We started to receive stuff in order to put some Blackpool releases together.
We've got a busy few weeks coming up.
We had Will Gray come a couple of days ago.
Yes.
That's another trick we're trying to put together, to have just a small run for Blackpool.
Keep an eye out for that. It's a cracker.
It is great. It is, yeah.
It really is. It's a cracker. That's what I'm going to say.
It's a great effect. Yeah. Well, we're going to show it hopefully on one of the shows before.
One of the upcoming shows, yeah. You'll see a bit of a clip of that. And so that's it really. We're working hard getting the stuff ready for Blackpool. Hope you enjoyed the show this week, and see you next week.
See you next week.
What's your name, please? Howard, and your name, please?
Leo.
Leo. Howard, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to spread the cards out in front of you. I want you to look at one card. Actually, so you don't both think of the same card. You go for a red card and you go for a black card. Okay. Make sure you see the card. So I'm going to spread them out. Get a red card in your mind. You got one?
Yeah.
You have a red card in your mind. Just in case you think I know where your card is, I will mix the cards up. Leo, I want you to get a black card in your mind. Get one in your mind? You got one? You got one? So you have a black card, you have a red card. I'm going to go with yours first. What's your name, please?
Jasper.
Jasper, hold your hand out like this for me, please. Hold on to the pack. That's great. Concentrate on your card. I'm going to try to feel where your card is. Don't forget, it's in your mind. Oh, I'm getting close. Oh, yes. For the first time, name the card you're thinking of, please. Okay, so you have a card in your mind, yeah? Yeah. Okay, so Leo, name your card.
Oh my God! Wow!
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
King of Hearts.
Do you know what? This is your card, the King of Hearts, the one you're actually thinking of. Okay, you're thinking of a card, aren't you? You're thinking of a card.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So, no, I know it's not here. It's not there, is it?
No.
It's not there. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Name the card you're thinking of.
Queen of Spades.
Turn it over. The card you're thinking of.
That's Joe.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well done.
Have a great day.